Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive. You want to know what's going to be transforming the world by 2025? We're going to tell you. And with me to break it all down is our expert. They are amazing at connecting all the dots.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
So no crystal ball needed, right? We're mainly using CB Insight's Game Changers 2025 report.
Yeah, it's a great report. And we're going to go beyond the headlines with it, dig into the funding, the corporate moves, all that, so we understand the why.
Exactly. And speaking of big changes, we got to talk about extreme weather. The World Economic Forum says it's the #1 global risk. And I don't know if you've noticed, but CEOs are freaking out about it. Like on those earnings calls, when they talk to investors.
Right.
TD Bank, Tiger Brands, Swiss Re, they're all talking about it.
Yeah, and it's not just like, a few more rainy days. We're talking $30 trillion of the global economy at risk. Insurance, Wall Street, everyone's suddenly obsessed with AI weather models.
So this is beyond me checking my phone to see if I need an umbrella tomorrow.
Way beyond. This is about understanding risk like we never have before.
Okay, so like throw out everything you thought about weather forecasting. This is next level. We're talking Google, NVIDIA, Microsoft, all building their own AI weather models.
Yeah, like ForecastNet, GraphCap.
Aurora.
Yeah.
What even?
And NVIDIA's got this one, Stormcast. It's unbelievable. It can predict hurricanes like down to the kilometer minutes before they hit.
Stop. Really? So if you're listening out there and you're in insurance or finance or honestly, you just like to be prepared,
Right.
AI weather prediction, this is going to touch your life.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, let's go from the sky down, like way down into the earth. Everyone talks about renewable energy, but like, what about the earth itself as an energy source?
Now, geothermal.
Exactly.
I've heard about it, but it always seemed kind of small scale.
Right, because accessing that heat way down in the ground, that's the challenge. But that's where ultra-deep drilling comes in.
Okay.
We're talking 6 miles, or even deeper, into the Earth's crust, where the temperatures can get crazy hot, like 750 degrees Fahrenheit.
Whoa. Okay, but what's so special about being that deep?
Because at that temperature, water becomes supercritical. That's not just steam anymore. It's got 5 to 10 times the energy.
So it's like a supercharged energy source just waiting there.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's available everywhere, all the time. You don't need wind. You don't need sunshine.
Right.
It's always there.
So are there companies like actually doing this? This doesn't sound like sci-fi.
Oh, there are. Quasi-energy, for one. They're using millimeter waves to basically vaporize rock.
What?
Yeah, melt their way down to those hot spots. Then there's GA drilling. They're using plasma to like cut through rock. Super fast, super precise.
It's like they're using superpowered lasers. Didn't Google just like make a move in geothermal?
They did. They're buying 115 megawatts of geothermal energy from a company called Fervo. That's a lot enough to power a small city.
Wow. So geothermal's not a small player anymore.
Nope, definitely not.
So from the real world, let's go to the digital one. What's happening in AI?
Well, one of the most interesting things is AI agents.
Okay, hold on. What is an AI agent? Is that like a chatbot?
It's similar, but way more advanced. Think about it. A chatbot, it's like one tool. An AI agent is like a whole team of experts ready to work for you.
Huh.
These agents use large language models, or LLMs. They can process information, they can learn, almost like a human brain.
So like a really smart digital assistant.
Exactly.
Okay. But how would they actually work? Give me an example.
Sure. Imagine you're planning a trip, flights, hotels, rental car, the whole thing. Instead of spending hours online, you tell your AI agent what you need. It books everything, best flights, hotel deals, everything, and it knows your budget, your preferences.
This sounds amazing. I hate planning trips, but it's not just travel, right?
Right. It could manage your finances, schedule your appointments, write reports, even give you personalized education or health advice.
Wow. So it frees us up to do other things.
Exactly. More creative things, more fulfilling things.
So how do we know this is actually happening? What are the signs?
Well, Microsoft, they're making their Copilot AI more open, so it can connect with all kinds of other tools and services.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, even other AI agents.
So like an AI network.
Exactly. And then there's Slack. They've launched something called an agent hub.
An agent hub.
Yeah, it's a place where companies can basically get AI agents from different developers, like Salesforce.
Okay, so this is how AI becomes part of everything we do online.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it gets even more interesting.
Yeah.
Well, think about agent marketplaces. In the future, you could hire a specialized AI agent whenever you need one. Need to analyze data for your business. There's an agent for that. Need an AI tutor for your kids' homework. There's an agent for that too.
Wow. It's like the gig economy, but for AI.
Exactly. So what would you delegate to an AI agent?
That is a great question. But you know what? Let's go from the digital world to something a little more out there, space. Who hasn't dreamed of just like zipping around the galaxy?
Right.
But we're a long way from warp drive, right?
Yeah, we're not there yet.
So how do we get around?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is propulsion. Like, how do we travel these vast distances quickly and efficiently? Chemical rockets, they work, but they're not great.
They use so much fuel.
They do. They're inefficient, especially for long trips.
Yeah.
So what if we could use something way more powerful, something more efficient? That's where advanced nuclear propulsion comes in.
Okay, now that sounds like something out of Star Trek.
It does, but it's a real thing.
It is.
And it could completely change space travel.
So instead of burning fuel, it's using like nuclear power for thrust.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
NTP systems, they're complicated. But if we can get them right, we're talking twice the speed of chemical rockets, using the same amount of fuel.
So we could get to Mars like twice as fast.
Potentially, yeah.
Wow. That changes everything. But you mentioned fusion propulsion. That sounds even crazier.
It's definitely more powerful. NTP uses fission, splitting atoms.
Yep.
Fusion is what powers the sun, fusing atoms together.
Oh.
And it releases way more energy.
So fusion is like next level nuclear.
Yeah, you could say that.
But harnessing the power of the sun? That can't be easy.
It's a huge challenge. Fusion propulsion is still pretty early stage. We're talking crazy high temperatures, pressures, just to make it work.
So it's like trying to bottle a star.
Pretty much. But if we could figure it out, the possibilities are almost limitless. We could travel to the farthest reaches of the solar system, maybe even beyond.
That's wild. Okay, so who's working on all this? Is this like top secret government stuff?
There are definitely government agencies involved, but private companies too. Lockheed Martin, BWX Technologies. They're working with NASA on nuclear thermal rockets.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they want to launch a demo mission in the next few years.
So this is actually happening. What about fusion? Is anyone working on that?
Fusion's a bit further out, but yeah. There's a startup, Helicity Space. They're developing fusion-powered engines.
And they've got funding from
Airbus Ventures.
Okay, so this is serious stuff. But let's be real. Nuclear anything makes people nervous. Is it safe, like, to launch this stuff into space?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Safety has to be the top priority. We're
Yeah.
talking multiple layers of redundancy, fail-safes,
Right.
everything to prevent accidents.
And what about just, like, public perception? People are afraid of nuclear power plants. Imagine telling them we're putting them in space.
Yeah, public perception is huge. We need to be open about the risks, but also the benefits. This technology could completely change how we explore space.
Okay. Yeah, it's a trade-off. But for now, let's come back down to Earth. Earlier, we were talking about brain-computer interfaces, those BCIs.
Right.
Can you remind me what those are? Why are people so excited about them?
Okay, so a BCI creates a direct link between your brain, your thoughts, and a computer or a machine.
So I can, like, control things with my mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy, but it's becoming a reality.
Okay, so how would we use that?
The possibilities are massive. Assistive technology is one big one. Imagine someone who can't move their arms using a BCI to control a prosthetic limb.
Like a mind-controlled arm.
Exactly. Or someone who can't speak using a BCI to communicate. Life-changing stuff.
Wow. What else?
Treating neurological disorders. Parkinson's, epilepsy, maybe even depression. Imagine treating these conditions not with drugs or surgery, but with a device that helps the brain heal itself.
So instead of treating the symptoms, we're going after the root cause.
Exactly.
Wow. That's huge.
Right.
But that's just the beginning, right?
Right. What if you could download information directly into your brain? Or experience virtual reality like never before? What if we could merge our minds with AI?
Okay, now that is kind of scary. But is any of this actually possible? Like now?
It's early, but companies are working on it. Synchron, for example, they're developing a BCI that's implanted through the blood vessels.
So no need for brain surgery.
Exactly. Much less invasive. And they're already doing human trials.
Wow, so this is really happening. What about the ethical side of all this? This seems risky.
Yeah, you're right. BCIs are powerful. And with great power comes great responsibility, right? We have to think about privacy, about consent, about what it even means to be human.
We do. It's exciting, but we need to be careful. So from brains to something a bit more practical.
Yep.
We were talking about quantum computing and how it could be huge for Wall Street. How so? What makes it so good for finance?
Well, quantum computers are great at solving really, really complex problems. The kinds of problems that would take normal computers forever to figure out.
Okay.
And finance is full of those kinds of problems. Like, how do you create the perfect investment portfolio? Or predict how risky an investment is?
So quantum computers are like financial analysts on steroids.
Kinda, yeah.
Huh?
They can analyze huge amounts of data and find patterns that humans would never see.
Okay, so it's not just about making more money. It's about understanding risk better.
Exactly.
Okay, so who's leading the way here? The usual tech giants.
They're involved, for sure.
Mm.
IBM, Google, Microsoft, they're all investing heavily in quantum computing.
Right.
But there are also smaller companies, startups, who are doing some amazing things.
Yeah.
Quantinuum is one.
Okay, so it's a mix of the big players and the disruptors.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time to be involved in this field.
It sounds like it. Okay, let's switch gears again. We talked earlier about living longer, healthier lives and cellular, what was it?
Epigenetic reprogramming.
Yes. Epigenetic reprogramming. Can you remind me what those are?
So imagine taking an old cell, like from your skin or your heart, and making it young again.
Really? We can do that.
Well, scientists are working on it. That's what cellular reprogramming is all about.
Right.
Resetting the cell's internal clock, so to speak.
Yeah.
And epigenetic reprogramming, it's similar, but instead of changing the cell's DNA, it changes how that DNA is expressed. It's like fine-tuning the control panel of a cell.
So instead of changing the actual DNA, it's like changing how the DNA is used.
Exactly. Like flipping switches on or off to control which genes are active. And the best part is, these epigenetic changes, they can be reversed. You can't say that about changes to your actual DNA.
Right, right. Okay, so this all sounds very sci-fi, but what can we actually do with this? What are the real-world implications?
Well, one huge area is regenerative medicine. Imagine being able to grow new organs from your own cells.
So you could, like, grow a new heart.
Exactly. A perfect match, no need to wait for a donor.
Wow. But we're talking about more than just replacing organs, right?
Right. Epigenetic reprogramming could be used to rejuvenate the tissues you already have. Imagine reversing the aging of your skin or your muscles, even your eyes.
It's like hitting the reset button on your whole body. So who's doing this? Are there companies actually working on this?
Oh, yeah. There's a company called Turn Biotechnologies, and they're developing a whole platform for epigenetic reprogramming. They think it could treat all kinds of age-related diseases. In fact, they just made a deal with Hanol Biopharma, a big South Korean company. That says a lot.
Wow, so people are taking this seriously. It's not just like a research project anymore.
Not at all. It's becoming a real industry.
So Jeff Bezos is investing in this stuff, right?
He is. He's backing a company called Altos Labs. Their goal is to literally reverse disease and help people live longer.
Wow. And then there's, what was that other one? New Limit, right? With Brian Armstrong from Coinbase.
That's right. They're focused on extending health span, not just living longer, but living healthier for longer.
It's amazing. Okay, so from living forever, let's talk about something a little more down to earth. We talked before about GPS and how vulnerable it is.
Right. We're completely reliant on it, and that's a problem.
So what do we do? What happens when GPS goes down? Because let's face it, it's gonna happen.
Well, that's where GPS-less navigation comes in.
Right.
Or what they call alt-PNT, alternative positioning, navigation, and timing.
Okay, so if we're not using GPS satellites, what are we using?
It depends. Some alt-PNT systems use different kinds of signals completely, like radio waves from the ground or even signals from pulsars. Yeah. But others combine different sources. Like, imagine a system that uses the motion sensors in your phone plus cameras to see landmarks, and it compares all that to a map. Even without GPS, it can figure out where you are.
So it's like giving a machine a sense of direction.
Exactly. And the beauty is it's really hard to fool. If one thing goes wrong, the other sensors can take over.
That's really cool. Are there any companies doing this, like, right now?
Yeah, there's a company called Zona Space Systems. They're launching new navigation satellites. But they orbit closer to Earth than GPS satellites, so the signals are stronger, harder to jam.
Oh, smart. Okay, what about something that doesn't even use satellites?
That's where it gets really interesting. There's quantum navigation.
Quantum navigation. Didn't we already do the Star Trek thing today?
It does sound like sci-fi, but it's real science. It uses quantum sensors that can measure tiny changes in Earth's gravity.
Wait, what? Gravity.
Yeah. And those changes, they make like a fingerprint. So a quantum navigation system can use those fingerprints to figure out where you are. And it's super accurate and almost impossible to jam.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. Who's working on that?
There's a company called Mesa Quantum. They're even working with the U.S. Space Force.
Wow. Okay, so this is serious business. Well, we've covered a lot today, from the Earth's core to outer space and everything in between. It seems like the future is arriving faster than ever.
It definitely is. And these technologies, they're all connected. Who knows what amazing things will happen as they start to work together? It's an exciting time to be paying attention.
It really is. A huge thank you to you for joining us and breaking it all down so clearly.
My pleasure.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on our deep dive. We'll catch you next time when we'll explore even more innovations shaping our future. Until then, stay curious.